Wait, did you hit the other recorder yet?
Yeah, I hit record. So it's
Oh,
recording now. So good morning.
morning.
Love you, Dr. Brad. So I was just saying that I'm sorry that I'm late. I'm 23 minutes late. Well, we've been not we've been talking nonsense for a few minutes because we're trying to do this RFP for people to collect the data for us for contacts and organizations, right? I mean, so we're filling out the RFP, and of course, what happened is both of us overslept, right? But I
Hmm.
overslept more, so we ended up being 15 minutes late, which caused me to be 15 minutes late for our meeting. Right?
Oh my.
I'm sorry, but the problem is he's like a right and proper manager because he's in the tech business, right? He's Microsoft now, he's Google, so and he's Asian, right? So so he's Chinese, right? So he's very organized, disciplined, and expects things to be done according to
Hmm.
agreed plans. So it's very hard to be not be managed by Francis, which is of
Right,
course
right,
why, because he's used to herding cats, right? So the man watching the management team because he basically keeps track of all our action items and meeting notes and stuff like that, and makes us try to act like professionals and stuff.
right.
I had to get on the meeting right away, but as a demonstration of his absolute professionalism, he said, "Well, we're both late," and I put some hot water on for tea. He said he's Chinese; he drinks tea. So he goes down. So if you haven't had your coffee yet, because he was offended that I had broken out a bottle of Coca-Cola in desperation for some sugar and caffeine, and he was like, that was objectionable. So
Oh my.
he told me I could go quickly make myself a cup of coffee, and he would go downstairs and get the tea. So not only is he a great manager, but he knows how to herd developers and keep their attention.
Right. Very good. It's an excellent skill set for a person in his capacity.
Oh, God, it's funny. It's funny. And so, of course, what happens, of course, we're talking about this, and he's a very smart guy. So he's interested in invest. He asked me a question in the middle of it, which is how does how does what are your I said I made some question about the psychology of what I call retail traders versus retail investors, like just
Hmm. Hmm.
and the guys who are individual traders, right? They don't belong as part of an organization, so retail trader. And so he comes in with, I had a question for you about the reciprocity of trading, of retail
Hmm.
trading. So we went through this whole thing, which is, I mean, it's a good thing Read AI is out there so that it
Right.
captured the discussion because it was an awesome discussion of the ethics and mostly where productivity and reciprocity happens across the financial spectrum.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, he was really organized about getting our meeting there and working through the criteria of our RFP,
Hmm.
right? And but unfortunately, just like you and I digress into things,
Right.
he and I digressed into something absolutely fascinating because in when you're talking about we talk about behavioral economics, we talk about neural economics, right? We talk about behavioral economics. We talk about the social and political economy, right? We talk about social and political economy, right? And so the difference is that and we talk about the economy itself, the what we think of as the material trading economy,
Right.
but financial economics is like all that stuff happening way faster, right? It's really it's like very noisy, right? So we're comparing those things. And I'm just, what am I doing really? I'm trying to apologize to you for being 15 minutes late, but I'm explaining that it was a really interesting distraction we got involved in, despite the professionalism of the guy who's basically our cat herder, on the management team. So
Very good.
anyway, so how are
Thank
you?
you. Doing all right.
Yes.
A busy day today. I think the doctors must not be working because I was about 30% busier than usual.
Wow. Wonder why that is. Is today Mother's Day?
Mother's Day, yes.
Today's Mother's Day. That's why.
That's my guess. And I'm like, okay, that's okay.
It's okay. Any particular fascinating issues today? Nothing.
No, not particularly.
No.
Just regular.
The life of a a GP.
Yeah, it's like there was the interesting. I was doing some self-reflection because having a difficult interaction with this lady and her son, and it's like just kind of like this, just suppressing my own problems with the interaction.
Right. It's like, what is there anything anybody the community can learn from that self-reflection?
It's hard. It's like it's just a matter of it's just suppressing your urge to retaliate.
Right.
Is all it is, because it's like, okay, you can only make the wicked harder to get through by trying to make the wicked understand that it thwarted you the first two goes. It's like, how do I make this interaction end gracefully and quickly?
Right.
That's all.
Why was the person being accusative or difficult?
No, just not it's like professionally second guessing. It's like trying to get it their way. They have a particular outcome they want, and they're not listening to the professional advice too well. And so they increase the resistance to the answer that you're trying to generate,
right,
compared to the one they want to generate. And so I just kind of collapse. I just let them, unless it's just stupid.
Right.
So I will refuse to do some things, and I sometimes, if it's easier, I just go, okay, I'd rather not even have the discussion with you.
Right. So,
but it's all happening in the background because it's like I'm processing the information without tacitly, right?
Right. So I'm trying to think of how to turn this into. Dr. Brad is extremely good at what we would consider stoic behavior. It's not only not only in himself, not only in his friendship circle, of which I am a beneficiary, but in teaching us that when you're in a professional environment, you don't have to be as personally invested as when you're discussing religion, politics, social stuff, morality, ethics, or whatever. And so the thing is, you absolutely can treat all those subjects professionally, right? It's just harder.
That's right. Because your biases want to creep out and cause you to react. That's right.
Okay, I'm just making sure that we're doing this. So how hard is it to develop that? I mean, people like you are predisposed to being adult, so to speak. But how hard is it to develop that self-reflection during the process of that engagement?
It's interesting because I've been doing this for about 7 years. Okay, and it's like, but when I started, I was much more personally engaged with the people, and now I'm just not. Because it's like I found that every time the more personality I show, is the more friction I get.
Right.
And it's like it happens in ways that you don't expect it, because the people will go tell the nurse, they'll call customer service up, and later you'll hear about it. And it's like, whoa, that was weird. I didn't expect that. And it's like, because they have other things going on. They're playing other subroutines and biases in their own heads that you don't know about, that they may not be letting on about, and they seek retribution by authoritative means. It's like, oh God, this is awful. And so I just found out that it inhibit all the circuits that are not professional.
Yes. So again, it's hard, right?
Very hard.
Is it teachable? I trained people in sales, right, for years. Yeah. Now I did it. I gave them instruction, then I did role play, and then I re-instructed them again in what we just done. What I found is, holy shit, role play.
Yeah.
Brutal. When I went and was trained in psychology, in other words, persuasion. I shouldn't admit this, right? I shouldn't admit this, but I was trained professionally by the same way, which was, here's what we're going to do. Here's our goals. Here's what this session is about. And here's the behavior modification we're going to give you. And here's how we're going to role play it. Then they role play it, and then they revisit it. It's the same thing as, what are you going to do? Do it, reinforce what you did, right? So I was really lucky that the management team invested in everybody else in the management team. So I got stuff that most people got much later in life when I was 23.
That's very nice.
Right. So you go through this stuff. So I learned persuasion, and then I learned how to teach sales.
Nice.
Which for an autistic kid, do you know how I learned personality evaluation, I learned persuasion, right? And I learned sales. Okay, I'm an autistic kid. I just hit the fucking gold mine, right, of lifelong education, which I sort of appreciated at the time. It was just 5 times harder for me to do all those things than everybody else.
Right.
Right. But you can teach it.
Yes.
Right. So my view is what you're doing can be taught.
Yes.
Right. And I think it's not only, so to tell people that they must practice a faith, in other words, it's about you, is a different thing from teaching them, in other words, about how to believe and feel, is different from teaching people how to do.
Yes.
When you teach people how to do, you indirectly train how to think and feel.
That's right. That's right.
And so my belief is that the personality thing, the neutrality thing, which are the stoic thing, the persuasive thing, and the sales thing, that's a spectrum of skills we could all be taught, just like we're taught the spectrum of physical sports, of letters, reading, writing, storytelling, literature, essay, and argument.
Grammars and logics.
Right. In other words, it's the grammar and logic of interaction. And so
social interaction.
Right. And so, the reason I like to prompt you on this, of course, I haven't exposed this way before, because sometimes I'm just collecting information in my head. Right. So, but the reason I'm interested in how you do things is partly because I'm envious.
Oh my.
Now, I don't mean that I mean that more in the jealous term than the
I understand.
I would like to have that, which is, there's not really it's desirous, jealous, envious, right? Is that how it works? Desirous, jealous, envious, right? That's a hierarchy. Well, I'm desirous of knowing this, and more often, when I look out at the world, what I see is people who actually need that more than they need everything else. I mean, it's like you have to be able to have agency over yourself before you can learn the more advanced skills of persuasion and selling, right? Which are two different things. Persuasion is and selling are persuasion is basically what you do is what I'm saying. You're teaching seek to understand,
right?
Right. That's what the primary thing is. Seek to understand, seek to negotiate. Then there's seek to persuade, which is basically argument, and then seek to sell, which is advance, propose, right? But you need a lot of evasion of your biases to be able to do that truthfully and reciprocally without provoking all this status, self-image, moral retaliation, and altruistic punishment, right? You're trying to evade all those things, right?
That's right.
And so people just don't have it. And I keep saying we teach all these people, this is why I'm big on therapy, and because males don't get any because they do it wrong. The therapists do it wrong. It's like, we wouldn't need all this therapy if we taught people proactively instead of reactively.
Yes.
Right? It's like, does that make sense? Like, one of the reasons, people don't think about this, but think of the profound effect, because you look at the difference Anglos had, my ancestors had, on the England and America, because America is just England at scale.
Right.
What a fault hit Kist covers this beautifully, and I would just want to kiss. I mean, he's one of my dear friends, right, Roger? But I just want to kiss him on some of the. I mean, it's like he had makes so many good points in some of his. I literally can't write them all down. Like if we do these arcs, you can't. It's like you can't keep track. If like you try to write down the arcs we're talking about, I mean, you do it in your notebook, and it's almost impossible, right?
That's right. Just to keep up with it.
You get right. So he does the same thing. He throws out these freaking whoppers, and you're like, right? And you can't because he's literally producing a series of oh my's, right? So, in any event, so we get into all these positions of trying to train. Now, I'll see if I can frame this. We've told people you're not responsible. And you can just be an animal instinct because you're naturally special, right?
Right.
Right. Before that, we told people that there was a way to be mindful, but that mindfulness was through submission. Right. When you were in the Protestant, that's in Catholic way. If you were in the Protestant churches during the in England, especially from the 1500 onward, the way you did it is you would speak your mind, meaning testify. So they would have these church would go on for a long fucking time. Can you imagine? I mean, I was raised a Catholic. I mean, 50 minutes of church is about as much as a poor man can take. Well, the reason you could spend 3 hours in church is the guy would get up there, talk about an issue of the day, put it in a religious context, and then you would raise your hand and speak your mind, stand up and talk to the audience. Now, what's the difference between that and learning how to speak in the Senate in Rome?
Oh yeah, that's
there's no freaking
level
difference. So why do you think when you read and so now you're a kid, you grow up in an atmosphere not of lecture, listening to you, asking you to memorize it, but of problem solving in the Christian context. The real problems of your day. Well, if I go to study law or business or economics, you know what I'm studying? Excuse me. I study economic. What's the right sequence? It's law, economics, business. That sequence. If I go up and I want to study those things. It's basically case studies.
Yeah.
Right. So you're trying to take general principle and apply it in the specific instances because they're causally dense, right? Right. It's not like it's right. Imagine growing up in an atmosphere where you're listening for hours on a Sunday as your primary form of entertainment, really, right? Solving social problems in a debate format that's moderated by the most educated person of your community. So you wonder why these people were really effective. And if you read their writings, they're like, yeah, they make these long sentences. They make traditional references, moral references. They're really, and you look at Jefferson and Washington and Adams and these, well, of course they talk like that. And so it's the same thing here which is I'm trying to draw this back. I'm trying to give you love and attention, but also use it as an example for the audience, is that it's really important to teach people practical, applied, contextual, meaningful repetition rather than step-by-step memorization.
That's right.
Right. And one of the reasons why we tend to focus on one-room schoolhouses. And what I've noticed is, I mean, look how many people we've added to the team this quarter. I mean, it took us years to develop each other person on the team before that. But you and I do this stuff and the team does our stuff, right? And all of a sudden, we're getting talent dropping out of the woodwork. Why? Because
it's generation.
It's spontaneous generation because we're holding discourse.
Creating an environment that is conducive for the generation of this crew.
Right. And so it's like when you look at what we've done and what we're teaching is hard, right? I mean, it's
very hard.
Overcoming intuition, right, is pretty hard. It's one thing when you don't have the intuition for reading or mathematics, which are basically forms of calculation, right?
Although the problem is that you don't have you haven't developed the grammars or the logics to even comprehend the conversation.
Right, right.
So we have to train you how to comprehend the conversation that's going to train you.
Yes.
And that takes a minute, and that's okay.
Well, but it goes back to physical training, right? Emotional training, which is really what Stoicism is, what we're teaching,
Right?
which is, but you do these through physical training is repetition.
Yes,
Psychological training is repetition.
that's right.
Persuasive training is repetition. Argument persuasive, which is argumentative, and then advocacy, right, which is appealing to the good, the moral, whatever, to the people who are, in other words, selling to people who already agree with you.
Right.
That spectrum requires basically repetition. So what did they do when they took grammar, logic, grammar, and rhetoric out of the school system?
Oh, God.
Right? They actually made our people stupid. What did they do when they started using mimeographs instead of performative, right?
Okay.
Go up on the board, do it. Why? That's rhetoric in front of the audience, right? What is that producing? Stoicism. What is it producing? Tolerance for failure.
That's right.
What is it producing in the kids? Well, if you prosecute ridicule, it's teaching people to help each other succeed. Who does this? The military. That's what they do, right? That's why the military training is so important. So we're not teaching mindfulness. We're doing the opposite. We're teaching infantilism.
This is the regressive educational process.
Yeah, that's it.
That we were discussing yesterday. Terrible.
Can I go fill my coffee, Brad?
Yes, please do.
Why do I feel like we just had a discussion that a lot of people need to hear?
Because we did. That would explain it the most succinctly.
What?
That would explain it most parsimoniously. Now is my chance to talk a little bit to beef up my numbers.
I haven't looked at your numbers. What are your numbers?
12%.
Are you kidding me?
I'm guessing.
I don't think so.
That's me teasing you right there.
Oh my God, are you telling me it did? Oh, I got it on video though, right? Okay. Apparently you got to keep the stupid thing open.
My.
No, sorry, it was.
You just got a ding for that.
Yeah, 78-21. It's always the same. 80-20, 75-25. I'm still amazed anytime yours goes over 25%. You're shutting me up is a nightmare. I love that the thing gives these ratings on how many interruptions, and like you guys, they talk about interruptions they imply that interruptions are a bad thing. I'm like, no, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I could, Tucker Carlson made this point when he was a couple of weeks ago on some interviews. Dude, I could talk endlessly about any subject for hours and hours and hours. It's shutting me up is the problem. Well, I'm the same, right? And if Brad wasn't regulating my behavior, I mean, it would just go on forever.
Oh my.
I remember when I met with should I say this? When the people, they were trying to get me to do a talk show like Rush Limbaugh, right?
Oh my.
Tried to get me to run for office, tried to get me to do that. And I'm like, can you, the whole problem is, can you talk to a blank wall for 3 hours?
Right.
I can't talk to a blank wall, but if I have a host, in other words, you just have somebody else in the room, absolutely, positively, without question. Right. Because otherwise I'm talking in my head, which nobody wants to hear me the way my head works, which is too abstract for normal people. So, but so if I get to talk to someone like you, right, we can talk for endlessly for hours. See, now I'm
Right.
up to 78%. I'm going to hit 80% in a second, so I got to shut up now.
Is that what your plan is?
What?
You have a plan
What plan?
to hit 80 and then sell at 80?
I don't know. I'm thinking that somewhere below 75% is probably optimum.
It's all right. Well, I thought that was a good introduction.
Well,
So
it's
now
probably
you don't have
a
the
teaching moment. It's a
read
teaching
AI
moment.
going.
What?
You don't have the read AI going now.
I do. It's saying
Oh, there it is.
9578.
Okay, just checking. So we're gonna work today, right?
We are going to work today. I'm excited to work today.
Very good.
I might have to. I have already had 1, 2, 3 contexts this morning, which is not good for me. So, but
Hmm.
I'm going to fix this. We had to fix the home page and the what about page because we found an error.
Hmm.
So we're going to go over the pamphlet. I'm not putting it online yet.
Hmm.
Not putting it. I'm not sharing my screen yet.
No.
Oh my God, I got to switch gears. Okay, I think I can do it. Can I? Yes. Switch gears. I say it to myself, and you know what I immediately reminded myself of? I went to a surgeon.
Okay.
I think I've told you the story before. I went to the surgeon, and he did something like that, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's a fellow autist. All right, that's what I assume because it's what we do. We project, right? Something sounds familiar, we assume it's familiar on our terms.
Okay.
So he's the surgeon, and he goes like this, and then he holds his hands out like this. I do that, but you don't see me do it because I don't do as much anymore because I'm not as stressed. But one of the ways I do is I check my hand for shaking.
Yeah.
Right? Because my stress level goes high enough, I'm shaking too much, and it means I need to turn the machine off a little bit.
Hmm.
So he did it. I'm like, oh, I think it fell off. Like, no, he was fucking dosing himself up on drugs to do the job. And
Oh my.
a year after my surgery, he disappeared. He just stopped coming to the office, and he literally disappeared. Right?
Hmm.
I don't know what he did, but he must have checked himself in.
Hmm.
Anyway, so I went from it's like there's a difference between an autist's self. In other words, we may not have insight into how we feel, right? So you have to look
Right.
and like I look at my writing, and so but his problem was he was an addict. And I'm like, I spent like 14 hours in surgery with this guy. With this guy, I have these visions of him turning around and going,
Yeah. Just make sure he's up to speed. Oh my.
anyway,
Call that maintaining titration.
maintaining what?
Titration.
I don't know what that titration means.
Tighter. It's like this. It's like he checks his hands, make sure he doesn't need another sniff.
Oh God.
It's maintaining the titer. It's all very good.
You need I mean, you wonder why the IQ of doctors is so high, right? Right. Well, it's because they select out everybody, so many they used to at least select out so many people with behavioral defect, right? That of course the IQ is going to be high, right? I mean, you've got because what you need to be especially a surgeon,
Yes,
you need a certain personality type as well, right?
that's right. That's right.
And what does IQ buy you? Self-regulation. All right. Have I sent enough respect your way this morning?
You're very kind.
Yes. Yeah, it's because I love you. All right, so we're gonna go back to where is our world here? Let me get this straight. I'm trying to figure out why my nose is bothering me. I have no idea. We'll just solve that problem. All right, so what the team and I have been working on, like I said, the team and I have been working on producing the first principles of rights, obligations, and alienations, so that we can take that and say what policy decisions that refers to, so that we can update the homepage with the policies, right? The point, in other words, to navigate people to the direct policies. But to do that, we have to go, we're actually going down to the first level, first principles first. So these
Right.
are first principles of the natural law, which are sovereignty, reciprocity. You and I, however, we worked on first principles of that early, and we worked on the first principles of the physical world, which is how we united the two, right? We united the logics, because before we had the principles of the behavioral world, right? Cooperation, and we had the principles of the logics, but we hadn't brought in the principles of the physical world, right? And it was by uniting those three, which is the work you and I did, that provided the continuity that would provide the explanatory power that would let people understand. And yes, that was Brad's advice. Brad gives me a lot of good advice. I'm just very slow in accepting it because I'm thick.
It has to meet certain proofs.
I don't, yeah. So anyway, stubborn, thick, disciplined. Is there any difference? Anyway, so well, Brett, I'm sharing my screen, right?
Yes.
So what we are trying to do is we're trying to bring in the first principles. Now, the problem was we had to create an outline of what we want. What Brad and I were doing is we had to create an outline of what we're going to try to communicate. And the reason was that when we looked at the issue, right? We looked at the issue. We have written this first principles of the physical world from multiple dimensions, right? We looked at this way, this way, this way, and right, we're trying to avoid putting in overwhelming in other words, we're looking for the minimum statement of causal sequences that produces the population's understanding of evolutionary computation.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then we want to say that, summarize with that, this is what we call the ternary logic of evolutionary computation.
Right.
I got given our last talk, we got negative feedback about including diagrams in the Constitution. And so I've practiced doing these things in text. I don't know how I feel about it. Right.
Fair enough.
And so I'm asking you what you think again. Given we've had negative feedback, do you think we should use diagrams, or would you just keep it all in text? My instinct, I can't trust. In other words, I don't trust my instinct, which says keep it all in text, because I know in the book we're going to use diagrams for everything. Do you have any intuition?
My impression was, and I reiterate what I said before, which is that my impression is that the diagrams can lend themselves to misinterpretation, whereas the text can be solidified and
more unambiguous.
Yes, and therefore you're reducing the chances of confusion.
Yeah. Okay.
By not including them.
So we're going to say text. Right? All right, now.
Because the Constitution has to be the least ambiguous.
Correct. Well, it has to be the most parsimonious while
There you go.
maintaining
I'm sorry.
Right, no, I mean, you were right, I just want to. And so, whereas in the book, we can use volumes of explanation and disambiguate the diagrams. We're
Right, where we don't have the room to do it in the Constitution.
we don't, and I'm not sure it wouldn't obfuscate understanding.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Give me 1 second. I got an urgent thing here that just popped up. Okay, great. Not a problem. All right. So now if we go back into, okay, what are we trying to condense? This one is mostly starting with ethics. So that right? We're
Okay.
looking for the one that's starting mostly with physics. All right. Oh, there's one more, I think. Okay. So all right. Make sure I haven't got 5 instead of 4.
Right.
Got 5. All right. This is why I get overloaded. I'm trying to hold all this in my head,
Right.
and it's 5 different takes. So here we have the largely ethics and behavior strategies, right? And this one, we pretty much we have this is probably everything.
Yeah.
And this is behavior,
Right.
right? All right, so these are in the right order so far. So how did I do that? Okay, this is what we're working on. This is the one that's mostly cooperation on forward. This one is an attempt to cover everything, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is everything. This is actually my attempt to do what we were doing before,
Right.
right? These two are the attempt. This is this is an abstraction of evolutionary computation. That's evolutionary computation. This is the first, this is how the universe, this is a description of how the universe actually works. Yeah. I think this is a repetition of this, right? Okay, so that's how it actually works. And I think, is this the same thing? There are no phenomena in the universe can explain. Okay, so it goes the other way around. So here's how the universe works. Here's how we explain it. So that would be, here's how the universe works. Here's a generalization. Here's the generalization of the generalization.
Oh my.
And what's the difference? And here is the unification. I think what this was trying to do is provide the illustration of evolutionary computation. Let's start. Okay, so we have the physical. So what we're trying to, and I've already captured this. This is the summary of all of them. This is large. Okay, I think we're in the right order. So what I'm really worried about is these three. One, the physical universe, the generalization of the physical universe, this conflates logic with the universe. A summary of it. So I think we are pretty close, because if we're going to not do this, yeah, we're not. That's my attempt to say, can we use pictures? So I just put them on top of that. Okay. So that's the summary. All right. This is literally physics, right? It starts with dipoles, i.e. the universe is discrete, not continuous, which is one of those, that's like so important. And it's like the continuous, i.e. mathematical, or discrete, computational. The universe is computational. It's made of discrete, something's discrete. Whatever, everything in the universe can be driven by discreteness. When it's continuous, that means it's mathematically describable or mathematically reducible. Well, it's not mathematically reducible except in macro scales. If we get into causality, we have to get into computational scales. Computational means we have to treat the universe discretely. And as far as we can tell, there's nothing in the universe that isn't discrete. In other words, made up of bits, right? So I don't know if I want to, we don't want to put this in.
No, that's too detailed.
That's just outside of it, right?
That's science.
That's science. Well, it's physical science. Now, this is the generalized description of it. Let me just make sure I know it. The first principle, the generalization, how the universe computes, and I've got one cause, one dimension. I'm not sure that one has anything in it. I think it's a reminder for me to talk about it. Yeah, it just reminded me to talk about it. In other words, there's only one principle in the universe. As long as you can create a difference, you can create a computation. All right. So I don't want you to have any highlights. I get confused. So we're saying What about this though? No, that's an explanation of how we go about solving a problem. That's an explanation of how we go about solving a problem. We don't want that, and we don't want this, right? We go over to here. Set of relations, dimensions, and unions. God, this is fucking beautiful. It's just not law, right?
It's not law.
I love it when people, they have no idea, right? You get these people who just drop it in nowhere there and they criticize them. Like, do you have any idea how certain we are?
Right? No, it's not possible for them to have any idea at all.
You can't even imagine it's possible. All right, so we don't want that either.
Don't think so.
There are no phenomena you can't explain classical terms, meaning operational terms. One of the things where they always ask why is it. This is a declaration. Is this the preamble?
Hmm.
In other words, is there a preamble there?
Sounds like one.
I just figured out why this has been a hard problem.
Why is that?
Because I haven't written it before in this condensed terms.
Right?
Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know, I have to talk to you, Brad.
Not really.
You're so full of shit. You know exactly how working together works. And you know, and your humility, sometimes your humility is actually sarcasm.
Sort of. I won't dispute that. That would be rude.
Killing, absolutely killing me. And we're trying to give the legal, declarative, ternary logic of evolutionary computation. I like this little diagram. We already
It's
done.
beautiful.
Okay, at least I understand why I was getting confused. Overloaded.
Oh yeah.
How am I going to do this now? I might have to. Existence requires a difference. Okay, you're gonna have to be a policeman here.
Okay.
Um, not this in my head enough to do this. I think so. If I say existence requires a difference, what does that mean? What do you hear? Is that intelligible?
It requires discrete change in state locally.
In other words, so this is basically uh uh what this is basically why is there something rather than nothing?
Goes to this. So I was driving across Kansas at one point, and I saw a place that had a tree amongst the grass on the flat plain of Kansas. And I knew that was where somebody lived sometime, right?
Yes.
Because the thing about the place like the Great Plains is like, how do you decide where to live? It's all the same. It's like walk over there, walk over here. There's no difference. And so there is no difference. There's no place to build a house. And it's like the guy plants a tree. Now there's a house place because it has a shade
Yes.
among the grass. So it's like this existence requires that difference.
You also know how to get home from within the
Yeah, it's like so far away, but I know where to go.
having been a child who gets lost in the cornfield, I can tell you.
Oh my, that's not good.
No, it's really not. I think I was 4. And it was like one of those things where you get told by mom, you don't go into the cornfield because you won't find your way out. Right? Because right. Now adults can figure out the sun and whatever.
No, because it's bigger than you can see out of.
Exactly. It's just light sky up there. So, and if you're only this tall, right, you can't see the. I mean, it doesn't matter that there's 80-foot pine trees around this mansion of a house, right? Right, it's a huge house, and like, well, I mean, I can see it right there. Well, not once you're like 6 rows in. If you can't 10 rows in, you're gone. So, of course, I'm just 4. I actually don't remember how I got out. It's gone, lost my memory. But I remember how that it wasn't scary, it was disturbing.
Yes.
I think I followed my footprints. That's what I did.
Ah, that was a smart move right there. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Followed my footprints. Like, I'm never fucking doing that again.
Yeah, that was an error.
So when I say you have to be a policeman, is I can write some of these down, but you got to do your usual job of saying, "That's empty, Dr. Brad."
Oh my.
Have to do your job of saying, okay, well, now we got to make this intelligible.
Right.
We don't know why the universe is under pressure.
Right.
Right.
Hmm.
This making sense here?
Yeah, there's
Something wrong here?
I would say that, okay,
Go ahead, boss. I'm listening.
yeah, there's layers of, yeah, okay.
Whoops.
I would put that not continuous because it's negative. I would make that parenthetical. And then the little where it says not continuous, and I would change the dash into
Oh. Wait a minute. Hold on. You want to make it not
I would
continuous?
put that parenthetically, yeah, comma, which will be mathiness, right?
Well, I think we can get there.
Okay. He's a
What we're
period.
trying to say is it's computational. Right.
Yes.
Discrete differences. All discrete differences.
Hmm.
We can reorder these at some point.
Yes.
Um,
Too many L's in that mathematically.
is that right? Yes, you're right. Oh. Is it computationally or no? Computationally.
I don't know. I know there's not three.
Yeah, I'm gonna be all screwed up now because now I'm looking at it and I'm like,
Now you're thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it now. I can't. Yeah. Now I can't tell. I
I know that's why I'm looking it up.
Yeah, it's LLY.
Two L's.
Oh,
It says net is the opposite of entropy, right?
right. So we get into pressure. That's what we get into. It has two options. It's this one. No. We're defining. No. The
I would
problem,
put the universe and all in it exist first.
that's what I was trying. Is that right?
I think it is, because it's like it's a precursor. Because we're going to define
Okay.
existence.
It doesn't, right, we can do it that way too.
So I would put those indent those dots, those bullet points that follow.
You want these?
Yeah, I would make those two go in one indentation. And then you can put those next to in another indentation. Because it's descriptive of differences.
Okay, where's, oh, I see. You're so smart.
I just hang around for the compliments. Now, what about this pressure?
Well, the problem is we don't know why,
Okay.
right?
Now, I'm left with this question that I will ask now is why is this in the Constitution?
Well, because it's only gonna take a few more lines
Okay.
to.
I'm okay with it. It looks to me like the Constitution will exist of some very interesting preambles with some science interjected in there, which may be less interesting to the general public.
Yeah, what I'm interested in doing is preventing magic,
Okay.
right? So we're trying to prevent false claims about the physical, behavioral, evolutionary, and formal logical world, right?
So then that will be part of the preamble
Right, so
documentation.
we're gonna say preamble, right? Right, so we've
So
said,
the purpose of this section, right?
okay, what we're trying to do is we're trying to do this. We're trying to create the first principle.
Right. That's very good. I like that.
That's what we're trying to accomplish. Because everything else is just an application.
Yes. So then we're trying to seal that off from magical thinking by the proof in between, right?
Yep. What kind of thinking did you call it?
Magical. Yeah, we're trying to prevent the intrusion of magical thinking into this document, right?
Right.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to get. Because this is the first principle, right? The first principle.
I would say so.
Because
Isn't it?
all we have, I mean, we're almost.
Hmm.
Right? That's something correct?
Produces a difference.
Gotcha. Right? Which we call matter
Yep.
or space. It's actually all space. Oh,
It's interesting because it's like increase. It's either condensation or evaporation, right? Or sublimation.
density, condensation, density. um,
I like sublimation better.
Sublimation.
Sublimation's in there.
Where is it? It's this one in here?
Yeah,
I don't know if I understand that term well enough.
that was pretty fast. Conversion of mass straight into vapor. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's the wrong form. You were right. It's evaporation. No, I'm gonna just keep it. I'm gonna keep it as a measurement, not a process.
I see.
All right.
Okay, that's
No.
fine.
Not actually matter.
No, because it's like it's a process. Because it's like the fact is it can only be resolved is a verbish form.
The universe can only resolve pressure.
Can only be resolved is verb like verb.
Yeah, I know. I'm asking you, what do I change it to?
Oh,
The universe can
resolves. Resolves. Increases differences in pressure are resolved.
is, are, was, were. It's the same thing. Verb to be.
Okay.
Can only resolve.
The universe resolves differences in
that.
pressure.
Release, relieve. We'll change it to the active voice.
Thank you.
Pressure. Or an increase in density.
There you go.
In vibration transfer. I'm gonna get this wrong if I don't go look it up. I, when I'm in my element, I'm just really love myself. It's if I have to talk like normal people, it's just so hard. Spin. Oh, that's fucking beautiful. Mass, gravity, motion, inertial waves, the ether, space time. It's all there, right?
Right?
We don't have to do all that though, right? Our
No.
whole thing. Reduces a differences,
Yes.
discrete differences,
Mm-hmm.
accumulating continuous differences.
Hmm. I would say dissipating in space.
Well, I mean, no, the energy dissipates by accumulating space. If I say dissipating in space, it means space absorbs it instead of it creates it.
Okay.
I don't think this is necessary.
No.
Well, maybe it might be. Because I'm trying to get the charge.
Okay.
This goes here. Oh no, it doesn't. It goes there. Like an A.
Hmm.
Resolved. Accomplished. Created on.
Hmm.
Or is it? No. And transfer. What are we trying to get to? We're trying to get to. It's all spin, really.
So what? Spin?
It's all spin. It's basically whirlpools.
Yes,
The problem is if you create this whirlpool, you got to create that whirlpool.
right. Because you have to have a difference
Right.
for it to make a difference.
So, oh God, I'm not going to say this without having to go into detail. I just make the assertion. So I'm trying to get to polarity. Spin polarity.
Right.
Right.
Difference, the fact that it requires, the difference is the polarity.
Right.
Any difference requires polarity.
Right. Because there's nowhere to go. Increase. Can only be. Can only survive. Persist. By an increase in opposite spin.
Yeah, that's even funny too. It's like there's no this is a funny thing, okay? Because it's all relative, okay? Because it goes, I'm going to go back to this first one. All differences are discrete, right? Which is to say there's a polarity there. There's a difference. And it is based on a polarity between the place where it isn't different or wasn't different to now there's an introduction of a polar opposite, which is different.
Okay, any increase in density. Okay. So. Jesus Christ, you just, any increase in differences. No, any decrease of differences. That's actually the right answer.
Two calls.
I'm missing a step there. We want to say stable.
Hmm.
The problem is sufficient. Because it's stable relations are quanta. Minimum or step function. I don't know if I need to say that. It's marginal indifference.
Right. Why did you write that sign?
What?
Exclamation point equal.
Means not equal. Sources. That makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
How do we say this? No, I'm gonna just write it the wrong way. Why can't I do that? Universes. How do I say that? Why am I now I'm having the same fucking problem with
Has a apostrophe before the last S.
thank you.
Yeah.
Now I can't do two L's. Now I can't do apostrophes.
That's what I'm here for, brother.
It didn't take that long, did it?
No.
Now we gotta say. Oh, atoms, elements, molecules. Help me here, Brad.
What's that?
Help me here. Atoms or elements, molecules, biomolecules. Is
Yeah.
it ordinals?
Okay.
Um,
Cells.
cells, uh, cells, multicellular.
Yeah. Life. Multicellular organisms. Yep. Yep. I would leave it there.
They want, I looked this up yesterday, just off the top of my head, is it, they want it into populations and ecologies, ecosystems.
Oh. Well, that works.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Hmm. Oh, it's funny. Oh my. That energy density.
And I'm trying to get, I need to go back and put density of wave, which is increases in density.
Ah. Ah, that's good. That's good. That's a very excellent clarification. Which is the differences in pressure are energy density, yeah?
I don't know. Well, it's here. We don't know beforehand.
What's going on under there?
Well, we
Okay.
don't know. We don't fucking know.
It doesn't matter because we can't look under the hood. Now here's a question I have for you.
Be relieved by be accumulated by spin. It would be, how do we say relieved?
What? Yeah.
Reduced. Reduced.
Ah. I think accumulated is better. accumulated as spin. Now the interesting function of it. The we go back to this discrete differences.
Yeah.
That's information.
Well, I'm afraid that information is mathing this. Differences communicate information. Let me just make this note. Oops. How did you say it? Information.
The differences are information, informational.
Concrete and discrete. Nation is abstract and continuous. It was math.
Huh.
Right, so it's an
I
abstract.
understand what you're saying. Fix that zero there. Yeah, thanks.
I'm not,
So it's like this is okay. So
you don't have, but
coming to the conclusion here, which is
yeah, go ahead.
the universe is doing concrete operations to generate concrete state changes.
Operate, you said, say it again, performs discrete concrete operations
To arrive at discrete state changes. Then you're gonna, that's where you get to the regressive, right? Recursive, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Mm.
Phenomenon. What's the plural?
Phenomena. Yep.
Oh, I don't know if this is right.
Need a period. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. That first line says computational in parentheses. Thank you. Oh,
Force collapse, okay.
Hmm?
I don't know how to do this. I'm just gonna do it.
What are you trying to do?
Well, I was trying to write as an equation here, but I don't have enough symbols. Plus, minus, equals. Or collapse.
Your existential in the third line of the bullet point down is not spelled correctly.
So it's evolutionary computation, logic variant, Turner.
Hmm. Huh. Hmm. Seems audacious. I like it.
There's a problem here. This is a therefore, whereas,
What?
whereas, this is therefore,
Okay.
all right, there's a whereas. Given. Well, it's whereas. I always have this problem.
Hmm.
That doesn't blow somebody's mind. Some people's minds. I don't know what's gonna.
What's what?
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty mind blowing reduction.
Yes. Highlight that T right there. Up 1, 2 lines to the left a little bit.
1, 2. Oh, thank you.
There's a
Fix this.
existential up the next paragraph. Third line on the left.
Here.
One more line up and to the left. Existential needs an I.
How do you spot that?
I spotted it a long time ago. Oh, you did put it in the wrong place. Oh my.
Hell,
This is where I make fun of you yet?
I just love it. I'm just loving it.
That was me not interrupting.
Yeah.
I do have something to say about information, though.
Yeah, wait, let me just get this.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Information is an ambiguous term.
Right, that's the point. Is information like mathematics is a discrete abstraction.
Wait. Information.
You're talking about cause versus information, right? I think that's what you're trying
information can be cause.
Information is the word we use to describe cause. Isn't that right?
I looked it up. I will look it up again.
I bow to your infinite wisdom, your
Oh my.
your genius.
That was a little bit too rude. I recognized it as rude. And it's like, that's okay. I can live with it. It goes like this. I'm looking at the verb up, the word up on the internet. Number 3 is to give form or character to imbue with a quality or an essence.
Let's ask our friend here.
Mm.
The context of physics. What is the difference between causality and information?
Oh, not this one. Hmm.
causal interactions produce the transmission and propagation of information. So it's causality information. So I think here in the realm of quantum physics, the concept of information has it connected to quantum states. In other words, they are not working discretely. So they're working at quantum, which is the quantum level, which is continuously. And so when they're moving from discrete to continuous, they're moving from cause to information. Does that make sense?
Hang on.
I'm not denying you're right. I just don't know if you're right yet.
I know. I see. I already wrote that in my notebook.
What?
You know what I wrote? Because see, I know how your judicious mind works.
Oh no.
Yes, I said to get Curt to accept this will take more time, and that's okay.
Ow.
No, it's predictable. It's like that one. That's okay. I'm not in a hurry.
And you are a man of stoicism and patience. Like, it's unbelievable.
It's probably a flaw. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it's a flaw. It's hella valuable to me.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's amazing what it takes to make a page.
What do you mean?
It's just a lot of hammering. It's very good.
Okay, so this is fascinating to me. So I always like to understand how other people.
Mhm.
So you just did the same quality of job I did going through this. You understood this as well as I did. I might have a.
Oh, you did a good job. You did a good job elaborating on it where I didn't think to elaborate it.
Right, but you understood it, right?
Absolutely.
How novel is that understanding to you? In other words, would you have understood this before?
No.
No. All right. So, okay.
Because it's like the detail is, it's in the book of science, which is like the distinction between computation and calculation or combat. Yeah, it's the subtleties of grammars and logics that are otherwise not available through that, unless through that science. It requires a unique paradigm of understanding to get there.
I think we can add those two and
Hmm.
I don't know, dude. I think that's pretty damn good.
Oh yeah.
And it's not anywhere. I mean, look, it looks like it's only that many bullets. I'm just curious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's like we can explain anything in 20 steps. I mean, it's getting to be that.
That's why I was laughing, because I'm like, it's just you. Oh, and I get to explain everything now. What? I can prove it because I can falsify all the things that people can say that are not true. I was expecting you to put decidability in there.
Oh my God, you had to go and throw a goddamn wrench in the works.
Well, it's like because it's like it allows you to conclude with
Well, you need decidability first.
Right.
Of what?
Let's say the test of decidability for any potential future human action.
I don't know if that's the
Does
case.
it allow you to have confidence in the outcome of future human action? Hmm.
Falsification, which is sufficient, right? Decidability. You need something to decide. And then you decide if something is testified, whether the person's telling the truth or not.
That's right.
So this is decidable, true. Okay. It's possible, decidable, true.
Hmm.
You got a few more, are we okay for a few more minutes? Because we've
Yeah.
gone. Weeks. Oh, the order is.
These are end parentheses.
Nouns change. Oops.
There's a preferable, should be or not. I would prefer the parentheses, end parentheses to be before the period.
You would be right in this case.
Thank you. Hmm. Hmm. Nope.
Go ahead,
Trying not to interrupt you.
please.
I would say this: all language consists of descriptions of the universal grammar.
You mean our construction?
Language is the descriptive part, not the information that the language is describing.
No. How'd I get that backwards?
All right, that's funny. I didn't notice it either.
Well, the fewest dimension to the most dimension. Let me see the thought. Like that.
What's that?
Most parsimonious and consistent is communication to the least
It's just funny. The yeah,
least parsimonious,
least consistent.
least consistent in most dimensions.
That's funny, man.
All languages, all language, all nouns. All nouns. I gotta say. Oh yeah, all nouns. All nouns. Verbs. Agreements. What do I have nouns?
Up.
So states. No, I want to do it backwards. Then states down. States. I got it right. All references. States. Verbs. References. I might have to fix this. The problem is it changes as we go along. Verbs. Oh no, this is states. All references. Words. Other. Nouns. Verbs. Changes. And agreements. Equilibrium. Forgot what I was going to say. Oh. Concept. Perceptual.
Experiential.
Experiential. The same thing. Deflationary. Hey, persistent. Confused dimensions. Athletics. And that is, which we call deflationary.
Hmm.
Idio, it's IDIO or idio.
IDIO.
The least parsimonious.
When we're being polite.
Hmm?
When we're being polite.
Or some permissible dimensions of reference.
Hmm.
You know, the first time I wrote this, it was like 30 pages.
I believe it.
Put acquisition in here. Yeah, because that gives you time.
So we're summarizing this science.
Because after this, it's just fucking bullet points, right? I mean, we just go into. This is the hard part. So the world is this way. The logic. That's the logic of it. This is the language of the logic.
Mm-hmm.
Logic. Causality.
Mm-hmm.
Causality. Oh, this is not. Is that right? Logic. I think this is still logic. It's probably right. The language, the grammar. No, the grammar. Now this is the grammar. Logic, the decidability, the grammar of the logic.
Hmm.
Grammar of the logic. Wait a minute. It's got to be continuous recursive disambiguation.
What's that?
Well, we shouldn't need to talk about language is a subset of grammar. So that's fine. That's grammars, right? That's grammars, right? That's grammars.
Mhm.
That's decidability.
Hmm.
That's logic. That's the process. That's the cause.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Go to decidability and fix it has two I's in it. One more up. There it is. Thank you.
I'm sending myself some stress here.
What?
Well, I just saved it because I realized I know it saves every minute, but I'm not exactly trusting. So
I understand that.
we've described the physical world. Behavior cooperation.
Behavior, yeah. Social behavior, is it? Yeah.
Yep. Got the opportunity here somewhere. Where's opportunity?
Behavior.
Oh, it's right there. Right there.
Hmm. Foreshadowing.
Decade.
Mhm.
In either.
Yep. In an unstable relation.
Stable and unstable. Okay. Three differences. And this difference. Right. Versus mathematically. Differences, persistence. Exist, right? The prioritization produces the hierarchy of complexity. The You didn't catch that one. You always catch those.
I think I saw it go in there, but I forgot about it.
Evolutionary computation. There's some ambiguity here.
What's that?
Some ambiguation. This ambiguity.
Hmm.
Faculties.
Huh?
I had faculties wrong.
Oh,
Brad was. I have it in my head. Every time I read this, I'm gonna hear you laughing.
oh yeah. That's good.
It's 2:00, 11, 12, 1, 2. Are you okay? You gotta go, huh?
It's not too long, but I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to work I've been working since a few minutes after 10. I
Mhm.
can't remember when I could work this long before. I'm gonna blame it on you.
Okay.
I can blame my success on you.
That works. I can live with that. What's amazing to me is how simple it is.
It's fucking irritating.
It's getting more irritating. It's like because it's getting simpler. It's like it just really crystallizes down nicely.
Either.
Hmm.
Is reducible.
Would it be the defeat of entropy over time by the accumulation of available energy in time?
Say that again. That was right.
Defeat of entropy over time
Well, yes, by
by the accumulation of available energy in time.
energy in time and transform it work in time or work in matter capital over time.
Yeah. Put a space between the accumulation on the sentence above.
Isn't that annoying?
What? Simplicity of it. Oh, that's good.
Repeat of entropy. Of entropy.
Minus. Nice.
Where are you? There you are.
There you go.
Oops. We have two questions here. Reproduction.
Hmm.
Do it the other way around.
Yep.
Solve the problem first. All behavior, all cooperation, all behavioral. But, oh, how do you make fun of something again? Offer is reducible and explainable by the returns on time by concentration or division of labor. By a concentration, oh, what about returns on time, returns? On time by a concentration of division of labor or division of labor. Or division of labor. Division of a division of labor. Is there a comma they do there? I don't know, my programming.
I would put after the dash, the first one, and no, put no space. Yeah, I like that. Put a comma after the dash.
Huh?
Nope. Erase the comma, put a dash, no space, comma.
That's not, you can't do that. No, that's two different signs. Concentration over division of labor. I think that's fine.
Okay.
Heat of time.
There you go. Yes. That's a equals by the division of labor, yeah.
I think I'm almost there.
Okay.
Coincidence and wants and interests. a discovery of a coincidence of wants and interests in time, in or over time. All behavioral cooperation is reducible and explainable by the explainable by the defeat of time, by the returns on time, by the concentration or division of labor in time. Oh, no, it's all right. By the discovery of a coincidence of wants, equilibrium. How's that look?
Like it. Would say sexual reproduction is explainable by
You want to call it productive cooperation? Is the same?
that's good. Now the sexual reproduction allows for the maximization of recombinations. I don't know if you want to enter that here because it's a
Well, because that's the next, right? Down here.
okay. There you go. There you go.
Sexual is used by intersexual intrasexual production in the service of intersexual reproduction. And the service of intersexual reproduction. Yes. By the discovery of continuous contextual discovery coincidences of wants and needs What do I have wants and what do I have wants? I got to do was cover permissive wants and interests. And wants, needs, wants, and interests. Needs, wants, and interests.
Hmm. There you have it above there, like 2 bullet points up. Put needs in there.
Needs, wants, and interests. Interests.
Yes. I was going to get there.
Sexual reproduction produced by intersexual reduction insertion. Okay, sexual reproduction. First selection. Produces. Evolution. Natural selection. Which in turn produces evolutionary computation. We're not getting coverage here. We're not getting. Okay.
Hmm. I don't know how to say this. Say this. Hmm.
I always show the differences in X, Y, plus minus. We call this time preference. What do you call this?
In time and overtime. Missed an E. Weather. There you go. And
Oh boy.
get the last word once. Thank you.
Isn't that annoying?
What's that? Almost done. You still have to talk about the last section, because we have to talk about the law to generate social order, to optimize evolutionary computation for the group within the limits of social acceptability.
I can feel it on the edge, but I can't.
Okay, so it goes like this: is we got it to how groups cooperate and sexually cooperate to reproduce, to create adaptability with an evolutionary scale. Now we have to talk about social organization to the limits of acceptability for the costs of the adaptability that we achieve within the construction of our group.
God, I'm almost got it. Give me it one more time.
Oh, yeah.
Almost did it. Can you do it again?
Okay, so we have talked about cooperation and adaptability. And now we have to talk about organization of the social structures to optimize our adaptability within the confines, the limits of acceptability for the costs of maintaining that adaptable velocity, evolutionary velocity.
I know where you're going. I think you might be right. I think I was trying to limit it. My subconscious was saying, stick with the physical.
Okay.
No, I doesn't mean I'm right. It means that's where I was stuck. So I don't know if it's right or not.
Well, I'm writing it down for you to make a note that we could do it later.
I think scale is necessary because we went from acquisition to cooperation to organization.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just hit I'm positive. I just started getting tired. You can hear my voice. I
Right.
did really good though. 10,
It's
11,
good.
12, 1, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2.
We did
3.
3 hours.
I made over 4 hours.
Yes.
I haven't done that in a while. So we have to do this one next, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll do closure. And then we've got it, right? That's this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we want to cover the skip. Then we just write the rules, right? Which is
Yeah.
we do turnout. I'm gonna kiss you. I can't reach through this thing and kiss you, but if I could, you'd have to run.
Thank God. Very good, Curt.
Oh, I'm tired.
Yeah, man. Was work.
That was work. All right. This is a working session, but I suspect that people will watch this one. So you want to like, subscribe, whatever?
Oh, yeah. Well, don't forget, do it. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and do leave those comments. Curt is depending upon it.
I just want to let you know that during this conversation, you're at 30%.
Oh,
Wow.
I think that was just because you're mostly typing and being quiet.
All right. I love you, man. I wish I had more energy because we're like one step away.
No, we're good.
We're good.
It's better to leave wanting to do more than burn out.
That was a justification. All right. I love you, brother. Thank you for all you do. Bye-bye.
Take care.